Hello, and welcome back to the 8-minute daf Chazara program. We're refreshing the program to include personal notes to refresh one's memory. The way this program works is very simple. You commit the maskan of the Gemara, the bottom line of the sugya, to memory. Once you have that in your memory, you could review a full daf in under 2 minutes. And you do this over and over until it becomes second nature. Eventually, after a few days, maybe a week, you don't have to chazer it every day. You just review it once a week, once a month. And like this, you can commit an entire mesechta to memory, and even the entire Shas. There are hundreds of people that are doing this in Eretz Yisrael and around the world, and they're committing the entire Shas to memory. Now you could review this video. In addition, there are notes in Hebrew and in English to help you refresh one's memory. These notes are not intended to teach you the sugya. It's if you know it already, it's just there to help you out and refresh the memory. With that being said, let's jump into it. Let's do this. Rosh Hashanah daf beis. The Mishnah tells us there are 4 Rosh Hashanahs. We're familiar with the famous Rosh Hashanah, the first of Tishrei. The Mishnah starts off saying that the first of Nisan, which is the first month in the Jewish calendar, is Rosh Hashanah for Yantiv and for kings. Kings means that all documents must be written according to the first of Nisan. And that is so that one doesn't predate his document and collect from real estate, from real property that was sold after a loan, by him predating it. And if we catch him predating it, we're going to penalize him and say he cannot use this document to collect real property. Now, if a king started to rule on the final day of the year, Chav Tes Adar, the Gemara tells us that one day of the year is considered a full year for the king. And the following day, the first day of Nisan, the king begins ruling his second year. If there was a vote and they decided that this particular king should rule, and the vote took place in Adar, and he started to rule in Nisan, we only go by when he started to rule and not when the vote took place. And that is, even if he's the son of a king, and most likely they're going to vote him in, it doesn't go by the vote. If one king died, let's say in Adar, and the second king took over from Adar, you could take that Adar and consider it as the final year of the king that died. Let's say he's ruling for 40 years, it's year 40, or the first year for the second king. And the same will apply to Nisan. And the Chiddush in Nisan is that even though Nisan is the beginning of the year, it's still considered a year. The first of Elul, continues the Mishnah, is Rosh Hashanah for Meiser Behema. That is, if you have 10 animals, 1 goes to Meiser. And Reb Lezer shouldn't say, no, the cutoff date is the first of Tishrei. The first of Tishrei, our Rosh Hashanah, is Rosh Hashanah for Shemitah, for Yovel, for Arla, for the Meiser of vegetables. That's the cutoff line. You cannot take Meiser from one vegetable of one year to the other year. We know about Tu B'Shvat is Rosh Hashanah for the trees. That's according to Beis Hillel. Bishamai says the first of Shvat. And the Gemara tells us, how do we know that kings go by Nisan? Because there's a pasuk that describes Shlomo HaMelech building the Beis HaMikdash. And in the beginning of the pasuk, it says Yitzias Mitzrayim. And it says that Shlomo HaMelech, he started when he was 4 years into his ruling. In other words, kings go from Nisan, which is the month of Yitzias Mitzrayim. Now, how do we know that Yitzias Mitzrayim is counted? We know what happened in Nisan, but how do we know we count the year from Nisan? Maybe we counted from Tishrei, which was the month that the world was created. Gemara brings a raya because Aaron HaKohen died in the 5th month, in Av, 40 years from Yitzias Mitzrayim, the pasuk tells us. Later on, the Torah describes Moshe killing Sichain, and that happened in the 11th month. It doesn't say that it's the 40th year of Yitzias Mitzrayim. It says the 40th year, but we have Gzeir Shava, just like the first one by Aaron is from Yitzias Mitzrayim, so too by Moshe Rabbeinu. Now, if the year would begin, let's say from Tishrei, Tishrei falls out in between Av and Shvat. So Shvat, when Moshe Rabbeinu killed Sichon would be a different year than when Aaron died. But we said it's in the same year. Must be that the year begins before Aaron died, in Nisan. And that's why Aaron's death and Sichon all happen in the same year. Have a wonderful day.